Well, good evening, everyone. I think I'm live now. So just thought I'd go on and do a quick stream. Got my Class 50 here, and to cut a long story short, I have got myself a new decoder for it. I did a couple of years ago. I fitted a Next 18 socket, but I think the bottom line is that just the extra little bit of height needed for the socket means I can't quite clip the top all the way on. So I thought I'd start again really and just hardwire in a decoder. I've moved the Next 18 decoder onto a different loco. There we go. So that's not gone to waste. And now I can redo this. So let me show you a bit closer in. There we go. Perhaps that works. Right. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, so I'll just get on with it really. So I've already taken the decoder out, the Next 18 decoder, and I've had it re-blown, reprogrammed, or whatever you call it, and I've put it in a new loco. I've got a Gronk, got an LMS liveried Gronk, class 08. Right, but I've got to get the lid off this now, which shouldn't be difficult. It should just fall off actually, but quite happening. Why is it not quite happening? There we go. Right. So there's a lot going on here. So you'll see here, if you can see really, but anyway, I've got this Next 18 socket. I've got black and red wires here, which I think the idea is I could use these to attach a Stay Alive, but I never did, never tried it. And then in here we've got wires going down the side to the motor, where I've exposed the bushes, the brushes, and there's black and red here for the two rail pickups, go to either side, and then I've got wires going to the speaker. So that's good. So all I need really is 6 wires. Now, here I've got myself a new decoder. Ta-da! What a lot of fun this is. So I have a new decoder here from YouTube. It's a Zemo MS491F. But I got this because it's sort of the lowest, shallowest decoder I'll get my hands on. The problem with all this is that we've got to fit everything in the roof. Let me see which, there you go. And actually the speaker's okay. In fact, the speaker just about fits. It's a sugar curve, which has got a curved top, and that just fits inside here. But the problem is I stick the decoder in here on the socket, and it would just be knocked by the roof, and then that would push it out the socket, and it wouldn't work very well. The other reason I'm sort of keen to do this is that while I've been working on this, or I've been fiddling around with this, it's sort of stopped working. I'm a bit unreliable. So I need to fix it anyway. So I thought I might as well get on and replace the decoder. So there we go. I know there's a few people watching. Do say hello in the chat. I don't know if the chat's working on the screen. It should be, but till you say something, I can't check. So crack on and say hello. Right, where to begin? So I think the black and red for the rail pickups, that's easy because I just loosen up this screw and attach those, so I can do that. The motor connectors, so that would be the grey and the orange, although I've used different colour wires on here because I don't have proper colour wires. But the grey and the orange, that'll be no trouble. I've filed little channels, filed channels down the side going to the brushes. That'll be all right. And then there should be 2 purple wires I can just bring over here to the speaker. So that'll be fine as well. So actually, I don't really see this as being terribly difficult. Let me get a blade of some sort. This might do. Right. Remember, this was all a bit of a bore to sort of set up. Let me give you a different camera just for a laugh. This was a bit of a bore to sort of get set up, and I had lots of trial and error on this. It did work nicely until it stopped working. So it doesn't do any harm to do it again. What I'm hoping to avoid is taking the whole chassis apart. I shouldn't need to do that. I got a whole video on the disaster that was me trying to work this thing out. Where's that lifting up? Yeah, because I dropped this on the floor while I was working on it, and I broke this sort of bogey mechanism. So on this bogey I think it's called like a bogey tower. That's what it's called. But it comes all the way up to here, and it's got a pivot. The whole thing turns, but there's a pivot at the top, and I snapped that off, which was a bit silly. I couldn't get a replacement, so I had to manufacture a new pivot. So that's a bit annoying. Anyway, let's just take the Kapton tape off. I do like these sockets, but still take up a bit of height. And soldering the wires on, take up sort of like the best part of a millimetre. And when you've not got much headroom anyway, just make it a bit tricky to fit everything in. I think Zemo now offer a product which is a socket, and it's also got the keep alive circuitry on. So that makes it a lot easier to convert a loco and add a socket with a keep alive, and then you can just swap out decoders, but whichever decoder you put in, it's going to have a keep alive thing going on. So I think that is a good option. I've got some black tack under here, how to get them together. Oh dear, oh dear. Can you see that? Have a look. Which camera are we on? We're on this camera. Yeah, you see I've got this black tack here. So I'll try and clean that up as well. Tell you what, let me close the curtains a bit, and then you might be able to see a bit better. Maybe not. Anyway. Trouble is, it's black tack with a black background. I remember this filming some of these other things. I was trying to film sort of like a black foreground and a black background. Wondering why no one could see anything. Anyway, right, so that's good. So there we got a bit of we got some Kapton tape here, which I think I'm just going to leave to insulate the chassis. that tack tape there. I expect the reason it stopped working is because my dodgy soldering on the bottom of this board isn't quite right. If I remember, the sound still worked, but the motor didn't. That was the problem. So I suppose I can take this tape off the middle. Yeah. If I get the right screwdriver now, I can just loosen this up and take the black and the red out. Like that. There we go. It's still a little bit quiet in the chat. You're allowed to be shy, but nice to know. Nice to know who's watching. Right. So if I loosen that up, somewhere I've got some tweezers. So one of the big things I've moved house recently, and one of the big challenges has been getting my tools organised. You'll see everything's a bit of a disaster. You may see in the background behind me, there's a raw plaster wall with big holes in it. So I'm having to redecorate the entire house, which is going to take a long time. I have managed to decorate the railway room, get the railway set up. So there will be a video coming on expanding the layout. I am able to do that. But the reason I'm getting this going is that my track's dirty, so I need to clean my track, and I can't clean my track. Well, I've got to clean my track. I've got a track cleaning wagon, but in order to use that, I need a big chunky diesel to drag it around, and this is the closest I've got to a big chunky diesel. So I need to get this working now. And it seems silly to faff around with the socket, since the socket was a little bit too big anyway. Right, so I'm going to peel off the captan tape on the middle section there. So this covers up the connection to the brushes. It's a tiny dab of solder on there I put on to hold it all together, to solder the wire to the brush. So eventually I'll need to redo that. There we go. Now, as I recall, I have got some insulation. Let's see. So just there, I wanted to insulate the. I might need to redo it. I've got a piece of tape there. So the purpose of that is to separate the brush from the side of the chassis. And I should have a piece here, but I think I've just pulled it off with the tape. So I think I'm going to have to do that again. And to do that again, that means I've got to take. That means I've got to take the chassis to bits. I want to avoid doing this because I'm going on holiday next week, and I didn't want to just take the whole locomotive, start taking everything to pieces. But I think that may be what's going to have to happen. All right, I just use a tiny dab of heat on this, just to take these wires off. I don't know if you can see that. You possibly can, yeah. We go. Really, I need another light here somehow, don't I? Need more light. Always need more light when you're filming. Right. Tell you what, let me try the other camera. Is that better? Right. So just take that off. Okay. One. Two. There we go. So it wasn't hard to get those on and off. The key is to have a tinned wire, I think, before we start. Tin both surfaces, and then you just got a tiny bit of heat, and on it goes. Right. And if I just take this bit of tape off, then I can undo the speaker. So it's a lot easier to take things to bits, so just put them back together, isn't it? So it's not taking a moment to undo it all. Okay, a little bit of tape. And I think that speaker's just held on black tack. Yeah. There we go. Bit of black tack and off it comes. Right. So that's it. That's all the wiring harness off. So very good. So somehow I need to get the speaker disconnected, and then we'll be moving on to this. So this is YouTube. You get the decoder, but you also get a piece of paper with all the settings on it as it was shipped to you. So on. So if you make a mess of it, you can just start again. Okay. So that's the. Can't read that, can we? Anyway, so it says class 50, blah blah blah. Here is this. Now it comes with a capacitor. I don't know if the capacitors. Oh, it does say 16 pin with stay alive. There we go. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that stay alive in. I don't think it's not going to fit. With the best will in the world, I don't think I'm going to get it in. But I did buy a couple of stay alive components. I got a whole bunch of capacitors. I got a tiny tantalum, I can't remember how to pronounce it. Anyway, it's a small flat capacitor that will work nicely. And the goo there, that's the goo off there. That will probably help with the installation. So that's good. Anyway, I think, see, that's a lot smaller. This is about the same size as the board here, even without the extra without the, so it's the same size as the socket board. So this should all come in a bit smaller, so that's good. So I think I'll be able to just slap this on here. Ta-da. That'll be good. And then I've got a few wires to connect up. Shouldn't be a problem. So it comes on this harness. So it's actually got a 6-pin harness attached, but I can just cut that off because I don't have a socket like that for it. And then there's other wires as well. So there's grey and blue. I think the grey and blue I can use for keeper lights. I think so. So keep them. I've got a bit of an idea, which is to add a couple of socket, like a little socket, that I can then use so I can take the lid off, and then I can sort of trail this wire over the back into a wagon where I've got a massive stay alive. So if I want to use it for track cleaning, I can just take the lid off, and then it's got a massive stay alive, and it can drive over dirty track and clean it. So that'll be good. And then I think the purple ones go to the speaker. So that's fine, we can come and deal with that later. And then on these ones, we've got orange and grey, which will go to the motor, black and red, which will go to the rails on either side of the chassis. White and yellow, not quite sure what that is. What it says here, here we go. White and yellow is front and rear light. Well, I haven't got lights on here, so I don't need to worry about that. There's a brown and a grey and a green, which is function 1 and function 2, but I'm not using that, so I don't need to worry. It says here about the capacitor. Oh, there's 2 blue wires actually. So there's a common plus is blue. And I think that's this. That's this one. That's that blue. And then there's capacitor plus and ground. I think it says, due to a small physical size, the MS491 has an internal 16-volt stay-alive circuit that is limited in its scope. The direct connection of capacitors up to a maximum of 1000 millifarads is permitted using the capacitor, not the common plus, and ground connections. A value of 470 microfarads is the minimum for any useful effect. Greater stay-alive energy storage values, please use separately available stay-alive control circuits. Okay, so that's good. And then, so this capacitor that comes with it, which I've lost. So that is a 1000 microfarad 16-volt capacitor. That's good. So I could use that, or do something different. I have a couple of other things here. I've got here, this is YouTube's product, but it's just a few bits and bobs. So this is 6 capacitors which can be joined together in series to make 16 volts. So that gives me a load of storage. And what's the... Yeah, okay, and there's like a little control circuit. It's not entirely obvious how that works, so let's have a little look. But this is a... I think you can build a control circuit out of just components. You need about 4 components, like a resistor and a diode and a capacitor or something like that. It's just a bit non-obvious. I suppose I hate to do it, but I should be able to get on holiday and just leave this on the desk if I can't get it working. Come back and deal with it later. I hate taking things to bits and not putting them back together and just having them in pieces. Right, here we go. Oops. Right, so here we've got these capacitors. 1 farad. It's 1 farad, but only 2.7 volts. One farad, 1 micro, 1. I really just say 1 farad. Right, so that's a lot of storage. So what I want to do is put all this in a separate wagon and be able to plug it in via a plug of some sort. So I think that would be good if I can make that work. But I think this is rather saying it doesn't have much in terms of capacitance on the board. No. The problem is there just isn't space, I don't think. How does this fit on? Yeah. There just isn't really space for this. Here's a... It's just not really going to work. So I don't know how I can make that work. Could put something in the undercarriage here. So let's have a look at this. I haven't really paid this any attention. Maybe there's room under here for keep alive. There is. There's do something with that. Okay. Maybe. That's not really what it's designed for. But that could be filled with capacitors of some sort. Okay, anyway, so that's this. So that's the sort of the big storage solution. That I can use for track cleaning. But there's also this, which is a capacitor. I don't quite know what its capacity is. I could look it up, based on what they sold me. But if this is a 16-volt capacitor, then perhaps I can use this instead. That's interesting. It's wrapped up in some sort of packet. But that, you see, that would fit in there, wouldn't it? Underneath. I was thinking, to be honest, I was thinking I'll just put it there. With the stay alive circuit. Anyway, we'll work it out. We will work that out. I'm just a bit worried whether I have to have some sort of keep alive to make it work. So good. Anyway, so how am I going to do this? I think if I put it on there like that, and then I can feed the purple around the side. I mean, these wires are very small, so I think that'll be all right. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. And then I'm sure to be able to get this on back on top. Much better than what I did have. So, just in terms of, so I think I don't need the plug, definitely. So I can cut that off. So cutters. I've got the tools. Let me just go and get the right tools. This is the trouble, because I don't know where any of my tools are. But never mind. Right, first thing to do, let me just do a continuity check. I want to make sure that these brushes aren't shorting out to the chassis. So there's the chassis. That's the chassis, and it shorts out. Let me put this. You can see it. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. So chassis to the chassis. That shorts out, but if I put that on the brush, it's not shorting out. It's good. The other side. That's where there's no insulating tape. This one there to there, and that's not shorting out either, so that's good. So the brushes are still insulated. Right. Wire strippers. Let me put these things away. Get back in the delivery bag. Glass sponge. I've got my electronics tools. So cap down tape. Solder flux. That would help by starting with a clean desk, to be honest. Right. Where have I put my wire clippers? Well, I'm sorting myself out after I moved house is that I've gone and bought a bunch of different tools, toolboxes. Right, there's no reason not to cut the wire off, cut the connector off. So I will do that. Just do that. There you go. It never ceases to amaze me how fine this wire is. Okay. So now I need to just sort out which wire is which. So the yellow and the white I don't need. Those are the front and back lights. Be nice to have lights on the logo, but the model, but I don't. I don't think I've got room to put them in either. So that's that. So we just twist those out of the way. Now actually I've mounted it on the right side. No, I haven't. I mounted it on the back. That's where the speaker went. I don't think it really matters. You need to work out where's the front and where's the back on this loco. I think on the Class50, the front is the side with the vents on the front. So I think this is the front end. And it doesn't, the top doesn't fit on either way. It only fits on one way around because these lugs here, these slots are only go one way. So I think that's the front. Right, so that's the front. Anyway, so remember that. Decoder at the front and speaker at the back. Go on there nicely. Okay. So we don't need function 1, function 2, and we don't need the lights. Let's put those up. We don't need the common, so that's for the function of the lights. But we do need the speaker. comes over here, almost all the way to there. Okay. So I think we probably need a tiny bit of black tack, which we've got. Tiny piece of black tack. We can just secure the decoder in place, I think. Overdene Station. Now what you up to, mate? I am still there, Overdene. I am replacing the decoder on my Class 50, removing the next 18 socket that I put on. And I'm hardwiring in a decoder instead. Sadly, the chat's not coming up on the screen. Maybe just putting on a different one of those. Let me see if I can fix the chat somehow. And there's the chat box. Anyway, I'm not sure if the chat box is going to work or not. Yeah, never mind. I'll have to fix that another time. Don't know why that doesn't work. Always struggle with the chat box, to be honest, on live streams. Now, right. Really, I need a camera that's a bit closer for this, all this, don't you? But I'm sorry if you can't see very well. Right, the black and the red. Now we're saying this is the front, so this is the left rail and that's the right rail. It probably says here which way around these should be. So I'll have a look at the instruction in a minute. Rail left is black. So black goes to there, and red goes to there. That's fine, we can deal with that. It's just amazing how fine these wires are and everything. Okay, right, black goes to there. So work out how to wrap it round and so on. I'd have thought to get off about there would be fine. I can't quite see again. Let me change it. There we go. So that's about the length I need. And just cut that off. And I've got here wire strippers, which I suspect. Ooh, just about works. That's amazing. I wasn't expecting that. Take a bit more off. And what I want to do is sort of make this into a little hoop. Look. Yeah. You see if I can just dab a bit of solder on there. I'm a bit worried that my soldering iron's hot, and I'm gonna burn back the insulation. I think that has happened a tiny bit just there. It's so hard to see what's going on. But yeah, on this wire, I really don't want to. It's the problem I had wiring up the socket, was that the insulation just didn't deal with the heat of the soldering iron. So you'd solder something and then you'd lose several millimeters of insulation and you get short. Okay. So let's do the other one, which should be the red one. So what I'm hoping is I can if I can get the rails and the motor connected. See what I ought to do is just use a bit of cap down tape just to take the whole thing down. Let me do that now. If anything else goes wrong, just to get it securely attached. I have to say, it's all a lot easier when you buy a loco and the socket's all already there for you and everything's set up. But, you don't have to do any of this. But then which bit of the hobby do you actually enjoy, you know? I suppose for some people they like making trees and building buildings. That's fine. I don't want to do any of this. So that's great. I quite enjoy this. As long as it all works. What I don't enjoy is when it becomes frustrating because I can't get it to work. Okay. So now I'm going to do the red wire, which is sort of off to the side here. So trim that shorter. Strip it. So I'm going to pull the wire out the decoder. This is working. because I really don't want to end up with the wires too short. In terms, these things are so fine, I wouldn't be able to solder the wires back onto it, and someone who's more skilled than me would, but I just don't have the soldering skills. Right. There we go. If I make another loop, do it with the other one. I need a bigger loop. Right. Just a dab of solder just to hold it all together. There we go. That's good, hopefully. Hopefully those are large enough. Whew. Right. So all these other wires we're just keeping out of the way for now. So in order to attach the red and the black, I need to what do I need to do? To attach the red and the black, I need to undo this screw. Undo that screw. And it's a bit tricky because it's what holds everything together, but actually the other one on the other side's still there, so it shouldn't cause too much of a problem. As long as I'm a bit gentle with it all. Oops. And I've got this bit of cap-down tape over the top holding it together as well. So that was one of the things I discovered doing this, is you want to use painter's tape, masking tape, just to hold it all together while you f around with it. See if I can get this other. So basically, there's a screw that goes in one side, and it goes into a sort of plastic holding piece on the other side. Do you know what? This is far too big for the. I'm going to have to redo that red one. Make it much bigger. And actually, I think I'm going to have to redo the black one as well. Oh no. No, it's all right. I've got it in. It's good. Okay. So I've got the screw in the wire loop there. That's fine, but the other one's got to go around here. So really what I should have done is measured it against that before I started. Feel a bit silly. Right. See if I can just straighten this out. There we go. All right. So that's good. I just want to dab a bit of solder on just to hold it together. Look. There we go. Right. No, that's not what I think it is. Okay. Tiny bit. Okay. So if I stick that back in there, hopefully the red wire will connect to the chassis. And then if I put this screw in here, there's that screwdriver, here we go. And then the black wire will attach to the chassis. So that's going to be my rail connectors. Pulling in, it's pulling in the wire. And I'm a bit worried that's not what I want. So I'm a bit worried it's gonna pull the wire out the decoder if I'm not careful. These wires are very, very fine. So I'm just pinching the wire here so as not to let it get dragged in. Let's see how this works. I think what I'm going to do is just make this loop a tiny bit bigger. Let's make it a bit looser. Oh. Turn things around a bit for you. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine. Okay. Yeah, that's better. So I can turn it easily and it's not dragging in the wire. So it will as it gets tighter. But okay. So I think we made progress. We got the decoder attached to the chassis physically and mechanically, and in theory I've got the left and right rails attached to the the black and red wires on the decoder. Good start. So the next bit is I've got to get the orange and grey wires attached to the brushes. So the brushes are just here. There's one, and I've filed a channel for the wire to actually go down. So the wire can go down like that. And so that will sort of show how, how that's going to get in there. So this is a good time to move the purple wire, which is the one that goes to the speaker. What I can do, I can just route that across the top of the decoder. Is that going to use up too much height? I don't think so. But I could just do it around the side. It'd be better, wouldn't it? And just route that around the side. And then all the way to the other end, which is where the speaker's going to be. Stick it in the black tank. Right, so that's where that goes. And then the orange and the grey can also go along that central channel. Until they get to where they're going to go, just there. So I think I can now put a piece of tape just over there just to hold that all down. Is anyone still there? There's a few people watching. Okay. Sorry, I know this isn't the best watch in the world, is it? I just thought if I'm going to be sitting at my work desk for a bit, I have to go around, I might as well turn the cameras on and just do a little bit of streaming while I'm at it. I think that can be cut off. Slightly smaller piece of tape we need. Lots of tape we've got. Let me just get the purple wire on the side there attached first. That's good. Just hold that down. And then just want to hold it in the middle. Alright, well, that's not quite perfect, but there we go, that'll do, sort of. At least puts those wires vaguely in place. I can run them down to the brushes either side. So when everything's sort of going where it needs to go, at least. It's nice to have wires that are the right colour, actually. Sort of feel like a big boy. I'm doing it properly, rather than I was using. So the wires that I was using came out of a piece of alarm cable, which I'll probably just spend a few pounds and actually get a bundle of variously coloured decoder wire. Right, so I can see where this is going to attach to the brush. So I think I can cut it. Also, I'm very anxious about cutting wires because I'm worried about cutting them too short. Let me just strip a tiny bit off the end here. Can you see? Change it so it makes it better. $22, $24. So that is slightly stripped. I can go there. I'll have a little bit of slack of wire, but that'll be fine. So let's flux it first. Tin it. It's far too much solder on there. I can feel the heat going up the wire, which is no good. Right. Get my solder pump. So this is all far too small for you to see what the problem is. Can you see just there? Maybe not. If I put it like that. So there's a little bobble of solder there. What I can do is prime my solder pump, melt it, and then try and suck the solder off the end. Okay, oh, very nice. Very nicely done. Right. Overdue. Oh, you're still here. Got to go catch you on the next one. Yeah, take care then, Overdue. I think I can just hold this in place. hopefully hold that in the groove. Looks like that's attached. Oh, that's very nice. So I think we just need a piece of tape over there just to hold that in place. And we do the same on the other side. That's my tape now. There we go. What's the time? 7 o'clock. Oh, time does go, doesn't it? Okay, let's see me stab myself in the finger with a scalpel. The best. Right. There we go. That's all very nice. So now on the other side, we can do the same. We get these other wires out of the way. Okay. Let's see. Where are we up to? So, yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'll just tin the wire. Tiny bit of solder. There we go. That's good. Now I think we need to just take a little bit off the end. The conductor's just a little bit too long. Very nice. Right. I can see why having a socket's much better than having to do all this. But this does make it all a bit smaller, if that's what you need. All right. So that feels quite good. Let's put a bit of tape on there. So we've got the left and right rails and we've got the motor attached. So I should be able to go and give it a bit of a test, which I'm not going to be able to do on camera just because I haven't got track and controller here in front of the screen. So I will have to do that off camera. So I think what I might do is wrap it up at this point and see how I can go and test it after I've had my tea, and then attach the speaker at my leisure. There we go. So that's good. Whew. Right. So the other things I've got to do is work out what to do with this black and grey and blue, which is, it says that's where the capacitor goes. So I can attach that. And then I've got the function wire, which I'm never going to use, and the lights wire, which maybe I'll use one day, but probably not. So really, those can all sort of go together in a twist, can't they? So that's that. There we go. I don't know where I'm going to put capacitor. Well, the idea, I could put a capacitor here. So I have the speaker here. The capacitor could go the other end. So maybe that's what we'll be able to do. Anyway, thanks for your company. Oh, hello, Gus. How you doing? I don't know if you're still there. Nice to see you. He's you not told me what you're up to on your holidays. Send me a bit of yeah, send me some WhatsApp. Send me some pictures. Tell me what you're doing. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now. So I will see you later in the stream. Bye.